What's up, ladies and gents? Social Nurse here. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. I really do appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Listen, I'm over there on TikTok a lot, and many of you are familiar with Donnie on Time. He does a lot of commentary concerning ethnic Black Americans as well as other racially Blacks right now. Let me just say this. My whole view, right? Uh, is something that allows me to learn a lot more about these other countries, right? Because racially Black people, obviously, right, are not the same culturally, geographically, politically. There's just a big difference. And I was one of those people a long time ago, right, that thought Pan-African ideology was workable as far as implementing it, right? People who talk about that. But I really do believe that Africa needs to lead with Pan-Africanism, right? I think so, right? And I think it starts in individual countries. The people have to feel supported and taken care of by their governments before they can start embracing any other racially Black person in a meaningful way. That's just my opinion, right? God for us all. Donnie on Time over there on TikTok noted that the South African mathematic team that competes internationally had no racially Black people on it. Congratulations to the South African mathematical team. They did well in the competition, right? But, over there on TikTok, South Africans are belligerent towards ethnically Black Americans, just belligerent. There's no understanding, right? And they're often, just fending for their nation, taking up for South Africans, right? They give this vibe that there's this togetherness, that they are one. Similar to the false narrative of Jamaica, from many we are one. That's not what we see on the outside looking in. And we understand that sometimes media presents things that aren't really quite true. Some things are true. Some things are not true. Some things are true, but a broader picture is not given, right? There's just a spotlight on specific things. Even with our group, ethnically Black Americans, right? We get a spotlight, a big international spotlight. We're Americans. We're Americans, right? So as Americans, although some people don't believe we are, we get a spotlight. That spotlight could be negative. There might be positivity, right? But our influence is over the world. I saw children in India on a video singing "We Shall Overcome." Okay, listen, it is what it is. But I'm going to say this. When I saw the South African mathematical team, it entered my mind. There's no racially Black people on that team. And because here in America, our group, our population has never been the majority. We've never been the majority population here in America, right? So when we see a racially Black nation, meaning the population is predominantly racially black by a huge number, right? We notice things like that because our nation was built on race, right? This melting pot of America, it's yes, but no, right? People self-segregate in America, right? But because our lens is so different, when we see something like that, oftentimes in our group, we like, wow, they aren't included. Racially black people aren't represented in their own nation. And so it's just an interesting take, right? We don't see Ubuntu like the South Africans do, that defend themselves over there on TikTok as this one big, that all the different racial groups, you can find different looking category, phenotypes of people over there on TikTok from South Africa going off, defending their oneness nation. We don't see that, right? We don't see that. And then they will use WS talking points, right? I saw South Africans talking about Black Americans commit so many crimes. When we saw your president, Ramaphosa, in a delegation of people talking about how horrible crime is in South Africa. You can't turn the mirror towards yourselves, right? It's so bad they are asking President Donald Trump to assist with surveillance. So the lenses are so different. The picture of South Africa is very unlike the Ubuntu to those of us on the outside looking in. So it is interesting that there is no racially black person on the South African mathematical team. I'll take the time to contextualize it, which other groups don't do, right? For ethically black Americans. Well, it's probably because there's still a disparity concerning education, class, money, and participating in certain activities over there in South Africa. I don't know when those racially black people are going to pull it together. I mean, Ramaphosa, too busy trying to deal with Israel, right? So it's hard to understand as an outsider looking in. He's dealing with Israel when there's people there wanting to separate the Cape from this part of South Africa. It's just nuts. The world is interesting. Perspectives, right? So that's one of the reasons why we, as ethnically black Americans, notice certain things in racially black countries, because our perspective is, wow, we've done a lot in our nation, United States of America, as colonized people within our own nation, right? And we don't see why a lot of the African nations are still running around backwards and, undermining themselves. Yes, they are undermining themselves, the leaders. Social nurse.